beautiful biscuits. That it's kind of like ASMR, isn't it? I actually really like ASMR videos. I find them immensely calming. This is not an ASMR video, but I do find them just very soothing, especially when I'm having any sort of anxiety or really when I'm having a panic attack. And I thought I would come on here, so I tried out this new puppy, and I've been talking about Jade Rollers and massage cuffs and all sorts of things over on Patreon. But what I've discovered, and nobody talks about this, but this is great for it, these are great for grounding techniques for when you are having a panic attack. So I have other videos here on the channel about grounding, tapping, and panic attack tips I have for trying to lessen that experience and get through it. But these have been my little summer discovery. They are glorious for grounding you in your physical form. If you are feeling anxious and stressed, so my technique is to put on some relaxing spa music and use this as I would some of my crystal rose quartz rounds, where I am grounding in my body. I am focusing on my physical senses. I am relaxing into it. And I am allowing myself to get out of my head and my fight or flight response by using something like this. And this is great. I mean, I'm amazed that more people don't recommend this, because it's not just like a beauty technique thing. This is an excellent tool for all the grounding techniques that I've talked about previously. You can get them in different materials. And there's going to be different spots on your body that is going to help you get through a panic attack with less severity, depending on kind of what's triggering it. So for me, when there's been a ton of buildup of anxiety, and it's like a cascading effect of multiple panic attacks, my feet really need a lot of focus. And if it's just a panic attack kind of creeping up on me, like maybe not even a panic attack, like it's just high anxiety creeping up to trying to be a panic attack, I find my face and tapping and that kind of grounding is super, super effective. Which is maybe what this is best for, I would say. I would say this is best for high anxiety to the beginnings of a panic attack. If you're rolling into them constantly, there's other things that might work, but this is just very effective, and you can do your whole body with it. Just practice as a mindful, actually grounding thing. So you aren't just doing this going, I'm gonna stress out, but you're really thinking about your body, you're releasing stress, you're focusing on things that aren't your mind trying to give you a panic attack, right? Because once that metabolic response, right, that fight or flight has been triggered and you're going, panic attack time, loser, you know, once you've rolled into that, you kind of have to walk that journey, right? I've never found anything that just stops a panic attack completely. But there's things that lessen it and ease it and open up your chest and relax you. And I've found that the more I can relax a panic attack as it's starting, the less I get into those cascade effects where it's like days of being panicky and scared. And so that can be really powerful, to notice your triggers, to know when it's coming, and to then be prepared. So I highly recommend, try a couple different ones, you know, see which kind works for you the most, like what sparks your interest the most. When you go to a store, try it out, try the materials, try different temperatures. You can keep this in the fridge for a really cool texture, and you can also then warm it up in your hands or with a heating pad lightly so that you have a warm one. And that might affect like what are your personal sensory needs when you're having panic attacks. But it's just a really handy thing. Like you can literally keep this in your purse, and if you're having like social anxieties, you can go to the restroom, sit in the stall, do some grounding techniques, you know, and just relax and try to come down from that. Because, I mean, I don't know a better time in the last several years to be panicky than the last couple of years, right? Like, in the last 20 years, when's a good time to panic? Well, now it's as good as time as any. So if you are feeling more panicky, I know there's a lot of guilt that comes along with that. There's like you should be able to do this, or you should be able to do that, and why can't you just make it stop, right? That's something that I've heard from people that do not have panic attacks is, why can't you make the panic attack just stop? Like, why are you being a whiner and having this panic attack? And you aren't a whiner. Panic attacks cannot just be spontaneously stopped, right? Like, when you've gotten to that point, and not through no fault of your own, it's really good to have techniques that lessen your suffering in that moment and let you come out on the other end of the panic attack quicker and with less intensity of experiencing it. So these are really great. I just think they're great fun. They're like, yeah, to your ear. Some people have a lot of ear sensory things that help them a great deal with panic attacks, but it depends. Like for me, fingers, I think extremities can really help. It really depends what I'm having my panic attack for, but highly recommend. I think I got this one at HomeSense. In fact, I'm pretty sure I did a haul with this in it on my second channel, my homemaker channel, I think. I know I talked about this on Patreon, but I think I did a haul of it on my second channel if you want to see my whole home goods haul. I believe it's over there. I'll link it if I remember. Goldfish brain. But it really does help to have things in your arsenal of war against the panic attacks. I know some people are like, befriend your panic attacks. I'm like, maybe. We'll see. I'd rather just have my tools to try and get through it. But it's really helpful to not try to just pretend the panic attacks aren't happening, because like that doesn't make them any better. But to recognize them when they're happening, and then to recognize what really helps you. And for me, these things really help in grounding techniques, purposeful grounding techniques with breathing techniques added on, and it just really helps calm down my body's response to stress and kind of give me some equilibrium. Okay, biscuits, I will see you in the next video. Should I talk more about mental health and anxiety and all that stuff? What are things that you would love to see this month for topics? I feel like I've kind of been all over the place with my topics lately, because it's just been things that's been on my mind. It hasn't been like any purposeful, this is my brand and I'm going to talk about this. I've kind of just been having the Wholesome Feed channel as my spot to come talk with you, biscuits. But I would love to know what topics you would find helpful that would make you more joyful and make your life easier. Because I feel like right now, something that I'm looking for in life is things that make my life easier to go through with happiness, you know, easier to go through my day happy. And that's true for like gadgets. It's true for what I'm eating. It's true for what I'm doing, who I'm spending time with, is really trying to focus on things that give me more ease in my life and therefore give me more happiness. It's like, it goes even down to, you know, what Instagram pages I look at and what am I doing when I wake up first thing? And I feel like little steps like that can really help me process anxiety better and have a more soothing, joyful day, which is powerful, you know? And I think that if you just use these kind of tools for grounding techniques without then assessing and kind of looking at, you know, what's the rest of your life that you're doing? What are the habits that are maybe reducing stress that you could add in? I just don't think grounding techniques alone are enough. I feel like it gets us to a place where we have the space emotionally, mentally, to then go, oh, what is causing my stress or my panic attacks? And, you know my crazy triggers from my stressors. And it doesn't mean that it necessarily takes away my panic, but it lets me understand it more and spend more of my time happy and relaxed than stressed out and mentally unwell, you know? Because a lot of the time we talk about fix-alls, or if you can't fix it, give up on it, instead of ways to live with the way that we process emotions, to live with the way that we process stress and even happiness. Sometimes my anxiety will be piqued not even by bad things, just by big things, you know? When my sensory load occurs, or I've put so much on my plate, and even if I get it all done and I feel that I've succeeded and I've been productive and I've done my stuff, sometimes those things can still push me over the edge because it's just too much going on. And if I don't pay attention to that, then, you know, all the jade rollers in the world aren't going to save my behind and make me joyfully happy every day and never have anxious thoughts, right? So it's kind of approaching it from all angles, but then also knowing what little doodaddies work really well. Okay, loves, I will see you in the next video. Breathe it out. Roll it around. You will feel calm and relaxed.